The stars were silent the night Krypton died. From the ashes of a collapsing world, a single ship carried its last sun. But fate has strange ways of bending paths. Instead of finding the blue skies of Earth and the gentle hands of the Kents, the vessel drifted into the cold grasp of a warlord. Thanos, the Mad Titan, was the one who found the child of Krypton. He looked at the infant inside the pod, wrapped in alien cloth, eyes wide and glowing with a light no ordinary being carried. To Thanos, this was not just a survivor. This was destiny itself delivered to him across the void. He whispered a single thought into the darkness. At last, the universe gives me an heir worthy of my purpose. From that moment, Kal-El's future was rewritten. He would not grow on a Kansas farm. He would not learn compassion in the arms of loving parents. He would grow under the philosophy of balance, sacrifice, and power. Thanos took the child into his fleet, raising him not as a son of Krypton, but as the son of Titan. He gave him a name, one the child would come to hear in every whispered lesson. Not Clark, not Superman. To Thanos, he was my star-born heir. He was forged with every word of discipline, taught that strength meant nothing without control, and that mercy was a weakness to be purged. As the boy grew, his powers awakened. Near stars, his body drank in light like fire. His strength was immeasurable, his speed terrifying. Even Thanos, who commanded armies and wielded cosmic artifacts, marveled at the child's raw potential. He was a godling, unmatched by any warrior in the Black Order. But Thanos did not let him grow wild. Every triumph was tempered with lesson. Every victory in training was followed by philosophy. When the boy shattered mountains on deserted moons, Thanos would stand behind him and say, "Power is not glory, it is duty. The universe is dying because it lacks balance. And you, my son, will bring balance." To Gamora and Nebula, he was both rival and shadow. Unlike them, he was not broken by pain, not carved into steel through cruelty. He was given something far more dangerous: purpose. The Titan favored him, gave him trust, and saw in him what he never saw in his daughters: the possibility of perfection. The Kryptonian child believed his father's words. He believed in sacrifice. He believed in destiny. He saw Thanos not as a tyrant, but as a savior misunderstood by the galaxy. And unlike on Earth, where he might have learned kindness, here he learned a colder truth: that saving a world sometimes meant destroying half of it. Imagine a Superman raised not by farmers, but by a conqueror. He grew not with warmth, but with iron. And every lesson of compassion he might have had was replaced with doctrine. The people of distant worlds began to whisper of him. A warrior of light and fire who bore the crest of no planet, but the will of Thanos himself. He was the Kryptonian enforcer of Titan. A child who had never seen Earth, never known Lois, never felt the human need to protect the innocent. Instead, he saw numbers. He saw imbalance. He saw disorder. And his mission, handed down by the only father he knew, was to correct it. And yet, even in this crafted path, there was something Thanos could not strip away: curiosity. In the quiet moments, when he drifted through the stars, the boy wondered about the world he had come from. He wondered why his pod carried him through the void. He wondered if destiny was chosen or given. But Thanos was always there, his voice steady, his philosophy unshakable. "You are my son, and together we will save existence from itself." And so the child of Krypton grew into something unrecognizable to the Earth that never knew him. Not the symbol of hope, not the protector of mankind, but the iron hand of balance, molded in the image of the Mad Titan. The galaxy had gained a new fear, not just Thanos, but the one who would surpass him. The boy who once would have been Clark Kent was no longer a child. Under Thanos' shadow, he became a living weapon, a god in flesh. His Kryptonian body, nourished by stars, granted him near-limitless strength. But it was the Titan's relentless teaching that made him something more dangerous than power alone. It made him a strategist, a general, a conqueror who understood why wars must be fought. When he entered battle for the first time, the galaxy trembled. Armies expected another brutal Titan invasion, ships raining fire, soldiers butchering innocents. But when the Kryptonian struck, there was precision. He burned through fleets with heat vision, tore engines apart with his bare hands, and yet he spared half of every planet he touched. It was Thanos' law carried out with speed and certainty no army could match. Entire civilizations bent their knee in days, not years. Gamora watched with quiet resentment. Nebula seethed with jealousy, for they had bled and clawed to earn their father's approval, while this child, this alien, was simply born to power. But even they could not deny his results. Worlds submitted, populations halved, resources stretched further. And among the fearful whispers of the galaxy, a new name spread, the Herald of Balance. Yet beneath this iron discipline something stirred. The Kryptonian did not question the law itself, but the way it scarred the survivors. He looked into the eyes of children left behind in smoldering ruins and saw not gratitude, but hatred. And for the first time he felt something crack inside. It was not rebellion, not yet, but a seed. Thanos noticed. He always noticed. One evening aboard his flagship, the Titan summoned his son. Standing against the backdrop of stars, he said, "Do you see weakness in what we do?" The Kryptonian paused, his fists still scarred with the fire of battle. He whispered, "I see sorrow." Thanos laid a massive hand on his shoulder. "Sorrow is inevitable. To cure disease you must cut. To prune life you must kill. Mercy for all is cruelty to the whole. One day, you will understand this not with your mind, but with your soul." Those words haunted him. He carried them into every campaign, every massacre disguised as mercy. He tried to believe them, tried to drown the spark of doubt in obedience. But the spark grew brighter when he stood near the people he saved by destroying others. It grew brighter when he heard survivors curse the Titan's name. And it burned brightest when he discovered fragments of his own past. On a forgotten moon during a conquest he found records of Krypton. Not much survived, echoes of a world long dead. He saw images of his people. He read of their arrogance, their fall. He learned his name, Kal-El. Not the son of Thanos, but the son of Krypton. And the weight of two fathers pressed against him, one who gave him life, and one who gave him purpose. He confronted Thanos with the truth. "You lied. I was not born of Titan." Thanos did not flinch. "And what does it matter? Blood does not make family. I forged you. I gave you meaning. Krypton is ash. I am your destiny." The Kryptonian's heart thundered. He wanted to believe it, to silence the storm of doubt. Yet he remembered the faces of those left broken under their rule. And for the first time, he asked a question no one had dared before. What if balance is not death? What if balance is life? The Titan's eyes narrowed, not in rage, but in disappointment. "Careful, my son. Hope is a poison. Do not let it cloud the truth." But the crack had already widened. Kal-El carried that question into battle, and it grew heavier with each world he touched. He began sparing not just half but whole villages. He began defying the silent command that every mission carried. The Black Order noticed. Gamora watched with suspicion. Nebula whispered of betrayal. And Thanos? He waited. He did not strike in anger, for he believed his son would come to see reason. But reason was slipping further away. The Kryptonian was no longer just the herald of balance. He was something Thanos had never intended. He was becoming the very thing Thanos despised. A symbol of hope. The universe now held its breath. For if the Mad Titan's heir turned against him, it would not be a rebellion. It would be war on a scale existence had never seen. Whispers of rebellion reached every corner of the galaxy. Entire planets began to look at the Kryptonian not as a bringer of death, but as a possible savior. The sight of him sparing the innocent, defying the brutal half-measured decrees of Thanos, lit a spark of defiance. And Thanos, ever patient, ever watching, finally saw what he had feared from the beginning. His perfect heir was slipping away. The confrontation was inevitable. On the barren world of Titan's ruins, father and son stood beneath the broken sky where Thanos' people had once thrived. The Titan's massive frame was draped in armor, his eyes cold with certainty. Kal-El, now grown into the full stature of a god, faced him with fists clenched, his cape of black and crimson snapping in the storm. "You raised me to be your weapon," Kal-El said, his voice trembling with the weight of choice. "But I am not your balance. I am not your blade. I am Krypton's last son." Thanos' face did not twist in anger. Instead, he almost looked proud. "At last, you speak your truth. But truth without acceptance is illusion. You were never meant to save Krypton. You were meant to save the universe from itself. Look at the stars, boy. They are dying under their own excess, and you would let them rot out of misplaced compassion." The ground cracked as Kal-El's boots dug into the soil. "No. I would give them hope. The same hope you ripped from me." And with those words, the silence shattered into war. The clash shook the ruins of Titan. Superman's blows struck with the fury of suns, each punch cratering the ground, each strike fueled by rage and love denied. Thanos absorbed them with gauntlets forged in forgotten forges, countering with strength that had conquered empires. The Titan's discipline met Krypton's fury, and the stars themselves seemed to burn brighter at the violence of their battle. Heat vision seared across the battlefield, carving molten scars through stone. Thanos countered, hurling fragments of mountains like missiles. Superman caught them, shattered them, then hurled himself forward with speed faster than light, only to meet the Titan's fist squarely. The shockwave rippled across the planet's corpse, sending dust and echoes into space. But this was not a battle of strength alone. It was a battle of wills. Thanos fought with the certainty of his philosophy, that death was mercy, and order required cruelty. Superman fought with the fire of discovery, that hope was stronger than fear, that even one life saved was worth the struggle. The mad Titan's voice roared over the chaos. "You are my legacy. Without me, you are nothing but a lost child in the dark." And Superman answered, his eyes blazing red with fury and sorrow. "Without you, I am finally free." With one final surge, he drew power from Titan's sun, burning with energy so fierce it lit the dead world anew. His body became a beacon of Krypton's defiance, his fists a storm of unyielding fire. He struck, again and again, until Thanos fell to one knee. His gauntlets shattered, his armor cracked. But the Titan, even broken, smiled. "Then prove me wrong, my son. Save them all. Save them from themselves. Carry the weight I bore, and see how long you endure it." And then silence. Thanos, defeated but unbowed, lay beneath the dust, his words lingering like chains around Kal-El's soul. The galaxy would never be the same. The herald of balance was gone. In his place stood something else, a Kryptonian forged in shadow, but now wielding light. Not the Superman Earth had known, but a Superman nonetheless. One who carried two legacies within him, the blood of Krypton and the lessons of Thanos. Would he rise as the greatest protector the universe had ever seen? Or would the poison of Titan's teachings haunt him forever, whispering in every moment of doubt? That answer remained unwritten. But across the stars, a new legend began to spread. Not the mad Titan's heir, not the son of Krypton, but a figure who was both. A god who had defied his father, a man who would choose his own destiny. The universe had gained a new Superman, one not bound to Earth, one born in the crucible of Thanos' will. And the question whispered in every corner of the cosmos was the same. Would he save them or rule them?